Monongahela, y'all. My family went to a Pittsburgh Steelers game over Christmas break, and we decided to do a little sightseeing while we were there for the weekend, and we ended up here at this Duquesne Incline. And if you know me at all, you know I had to look up the history of this place and figure out why in the heck did they build it? What was it? Well, it turns out it was not for tourists. Back in the day, as you know, Pittsburgh was the steel capital of the world, and down on the Three Rivers, which you can see here behind Steve, there were lots of steel mills, and it was loud, and it was hot, and it was lots of pollution. So people chose to live up on top of Mount Washington, which is the big hill we're going to go up. This one right here, this is Mount Washington. And before they built this incline in 1877, people actually had to walk up that hill. And they said it was about 800 steps carved into the side of that hill. So after working all day, those people had to walk up 800 steps to get home. And in the morning, they came back down those 800 steps. So this turned out to be a very good thing for the workers in the steel mills who lived up there. And they had several of them, but this is the only one that is still existing. It was almost destroyed because it wasn't used very often. Time the 1960s came, but some residents said, no, we need to preserve this piece of history. So they redid it, they remodeled, cleaned it up, fixed it up, and it has been running ever since. So here is where we're getting ready to go down into, I don't know, the mechanics room or the engine room, whatever you want to call it, where it all happens. So upstairs was kind of like the history, and then now we can get down into the working area. And you'll see this big, huge wheel thing there, and that rotates, and it will pull the cars up the hill, and then they're counterbalanced with another one going down the hill. So it's kind of cool how they have it all set up. So it is set up as a self-guided tour, and they have these little signs up for all you engineering-loving people who want to know what each thing is. Here's just the big wheel that does most of it. There's a little overlook watching it. And here you can see it started moving while we were in there. So we were able to watch this big cable roll just unwind and start moving the cars up and down. And you see that it went through this door. So then I went through that door to go to the other part. And you can see it is going with this cable, and then it goes wherever it goes to make those cars move up and down that incredible incline. It really is pretty cool that they made this back in 1877 and it still works today. Let's see. And here you can see those cables outside on the incline itself moving up and down as they're making the cars go up and down the hill. Then it slowly comes to a stop as the cars are making their way to the top or the bottom, and they gently go into the loading and unloading spots. And that's just my mechanically minded husband explaining how all of that works to our kids so that they know what's actually going on with that. Then we went up to the viewing deck. You go out the back of the building and you'll see that it comes out on streets. Eventually cars became prevalent and they built roadways, and so the workers didn't have to use the incline. But there's those little cameras to look out over these beautiful rivers where three rivers come together. The Allegheny, the Monongahela, and the Ohio rivers merge. And of course the Acrisure Stadium where the Steelers play. And you cannot have such a beautiful view and such an iconic view behind you without taking a few minutes to snap some family selfies. When we went back inside, this tour guide was giving a spiel of how Pittsburgh had the very first gas station ever. Have a listen.
They talk about the AC current from Pittsburgh. Now the Ferris wheel. The first gasoline station in the world was in Pittsburgh. And back in 1913, we call it a filling station. The attendant would check the oil and water, clean the windshield. Now, if Henry Ford's making the Model T cars in Detroit, Michigan, why is the world's first filling station in Pittsburgh? Think of two facts I've already told you.
That's where the energy was?
We got the oil to make the gasoline and to buy the cars.
I love listening to tour guides, but now it's time to go. We're going through the store to load back up and head down. So this is a view from the top. And of course, the obligatory selfie with the rivers behind us. Now I have sped this up so that it doesn't take as long, but I did time our descent. And it took us 2 minutes and 16 seconds to get to the bottom of Mount Washington from the top. So here you see the other car is coming up the hill. So this is definitely set up on like a counterbalance pulley system. Both of the cable cars are connected to the same cable, and so they help each other go up. Fun fact, while I was doing my little bit of research, each of those cars has a water tank on the bottom of it, and in the old days, they used to put water in the top car on its way down so that it would make it heavier so that the weight would pull the other car up the hill more easily. And as we return to the station at the bottom, you can see those loading docks, and you can just see how much it slows down, and it really is a very gentle landing, parking, whatever you want to call it. And there we are walking back across the bridge to cross the highway, of course, safely, and then we are on our way to explore more of Pittsburgh. Thanks for joining us on our little adventure, and I hope you enjoyed the little history lesson on the Duquesne Incline in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.